Yeah. 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 It's just a Tilly just going meow all the time. Good morning, everybody. Or good afternoon, good evening, whatever applies to you. Thank you so much for stopping by. Welcome back to the lab. So, got a couple of announcements to go through, so we'll get through that here in just a second. Assuming Tilly left. Well, Tilly, would you like to come say hi? She's acting like she wants to come say hi. Tilly, come here. Would you like to come say hi? She's thinking about it. All right, so while she's thinking about it, assuming she actually does want to come up, and she doesn't. All right. So just a couple of announcements for everybody. Number one, an apology. I think first of all, apologies for missing last week's stream. I was so exhausted that I slept through the entirety of stream, like start to finish. Wasn't even a 15 minutes late and I just forgot or anything of that nature. I slept through the entire bloody stream block. Wow. But in relation to that though, I am noticing that the 7:30, 7:45 slot is kind of getting a little difficult for me to keep up with, so I'm probably going to move the stream back a little bit. Still trying to figure out rough abouts what time. I'm thinking probably 8 or 8:30, which will be my time, which will be in about 30 minutes, 26 minutes, details. So looking to start more consistently around that time. Hopefully that works for everybody. I apologize if it doesn't, and I apologize for the change in time. It's again, I'm not as much of an early bird as I used to be now that I work somewhere that doesn't require me to be up at like 6 in the morning to commute into work to get there by 7:30. It's lovely. So time will change, but the day will stay the same. It'll still be Saturday mornings. I'm still expecting to continue that. Number two is, and actually I think I'll see here. Yeah, let's get the board up. Let's get the Trello board up. So I think this is also probably going to be either the second to last or the last episode that I'm going to do on the bot. So just in general, I've got a little bit of subject burnout when it comes to the bot. I probably am not going to abandon it completely, but I am probably going to focus in on trying to get either polls or event sub done. Event sub is probably an unlikely situation. If I did event sub, I would probably want to finish the auto thanks for followers, and then that would actually complete the core behavior that I wanted the bot to do. So that'll probably be a stopping point for me. Otherwise, I may do the polls I may try to finish the polls. I'll show you what's been bothering me about the polls here in just a second. But the polls or event sub, I'm still trying to figure that out. Based on the fact that it's today and it's stream, I may say that this is the second to last episode. So we'll take today to kind of orient on which feature I want to do, and then the next episode will kind of wrap things up. And in terms of what we're going to do next, I'll probably talk a little bit more about that at the end of stream. So just kind of laying the groundwork for what this is potentially going to become. And yes, I've heard the many requests for it to be a game. Depending on whether or not it is a game or not, we'll see. So, let's see here. I am probably going to keep the to-do list as well, just because I kind of sort of like it. I like what we have, except for this one probably. That one I'll probably get rid of, just because of the things that I've learned about how this works with OBS and so forth. I think I'm gonna have to keep that implementation as simple as possible. And GraphQL doesn't exactly say simple, but we will probably use GraphQL for the next project. And let's see here. I think that about covers it in terms of the plans for the bot. It's been a fantastic run. I mean, we're 52 bloody episodes in for the bot, which is awesome. And I may come back to it, like I said, as either like as a one shot. Hi, welcome to D&D bot edition. I'll probably do like a one shot of, hey, let's get based on learning event sub or getting event sub to work in some capacity. Let's add the followers view or something of that nature. I'm not sure. We'll figure it out. That's half the fun of the lab. Things just kind of happen. All right. Now let's see here. So I am also going to leave the event sub client as a draft PR, mostly because while it worked, the configuration for ngrok and so forth, it's just bothering me. I'll be honest, it was just bothering me. So I will come back. I will come back to this, and I'll probably update it a little bit later. But for now, we're gonna be focusing on the polls. Now, watch this thing start to work for me. Let's see here. So I want to go build. Go build. So welcome to the screen, or the view. It's been bothering the ever-living shite out of me for the last couple weeks. At least when I've come back to it. So, on the bits handler and the sub handler, I've started to receive this error.error is not a field or method. Now that's relatively simplistic. If I go to, let's see here, so we'll go to bits handler, line 46. That's the wrong bits handler. The server bits handler. Oh, and it crashed. I need to figure out if there's a way to recover from when this window crashes. One day, someday. And then we need to go to line 46. Yeah. So, bits handler, line 46. You get a big ol' message as to what happened. I can't actually scroll for it though, which makes me kind of sad. But basically there's something about it. It doesn't like this. It doesn't like this function all of a sudden. And I can't figure out why. Why do we do? And then there's also this, which seems to be cascading from the topmost function. I can't figure out why it's so mad at me. Come back here. So 46, 68, and 69 for both of these. Yoink. And then again, error is a field, not a method. Cannot use error as type error in argument logger.fatal. So there's like this cascading problem suddenly. Get diff server bits handler. And the only thing that's changed is that we changed this to store. We changed this to s.store. As far as I can tell, at least. So that's been bothering the crap out of me. So I can't figure out why he's so upset. Unless something changed with template to parse. No. Still a template and an error. Meh. So. I've lost much sleep over this. Oh, that's what it is. The ice hasn't dissolved. Sorry. So, this has actually been blocking me from, from getting this to work, but even just getting it to start. And this is the only thing that changed. Hence my consideration for whether I was going to attempt to complete the poll or whether I was going to move on to something that doesn't have these errors on it. And I think the thing that gets me is that I'm not entirely sure how to debug it. Because I can't read that, unfortunately. Let's see here. DOC error, window scroll. Is there a way to scroll? Yes. Tab page, tab number, as float, float scroll. DOC util float scroll might be useful. Yeah, we don't want that. Ow. So this is a tool issue because I don't understand my tools.
So, how are you holding up?
Oh snap!
Because I'm a potato.
Hey. Welcome, Phil. Thank you so much for stopping by. Welcome to the lab. 10 freaking months! How you doing? Oh man. 10 months, that is insanity. It's really been that long. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to internalize that, but I can't. Thank you so much, mate. I appreciate it. You have a free weekend? Yo. What's that like? That's awesome. Let's see here. I'm trying to think. I've got I'm attempting to figure out what I want to do immediately after stream, but then a little bit later today we're going to be doing some Foundry VTT, some Foundry virtual tabletop. Gonna be hosting one because I'm rolling off of Roll20. Didn't even intend to do that. I'm gonna be rolling off of Roll20, so we are deploying a Foundry VTT instance, or I should say, I'm deploying a Foundry VTT instance. And I'm being reminded of why I don't particularly care for being A software developer? Hello, I am a software developer. A DevOps engineer. There we go. So I don't mind infrastructure. I actually kind of enjoy infrastructure up to a point. But up to that point, Ooh, Foundry? Let's see here. Foundry, VTT. Foundry. Foundry, it is a virtual tabletop, and it's incredible. Like, yo, it's incredible. The things that you can do with this thing are silly, and I love it. All right, what was the password? The password was just... No, it wasn't a pass. There was no password. Password. Nope. I actually don't remember. Demo, any of the players logged in, XP Foundry, please enjoy the available features, da 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 da. I actually forgot what the password was. Yes. Oh. It's only player access, not the game master. So the Foundry. Foundry. There we go. Yoink. Brief pause from the lab for Foundry VTT. Ooh, it's chugging. It's chugging hard. Yeah. That's Foundry. It's amazing. And it's self-hosted, which is a blessing and a curse. But being able to basically take the equivalent of a Roll20 server, with more stuff on it, co-locate it in a server that is near to all of my players. So good. And unlimited storage. Just great. Oh my god. There you go. So that's going to be my day. At least it'll be later in the day. At some point I need to put that thing back into the window and do some crafting, but that thing smokes me out of the room, and every once in a while I set my own alarms off, which is not great. Cannot use template.parse. Okay, so this might be half the issue. Trying to see why this would be. I think the thing that gets me the most about this is that this started breaking without me actually doing anything. Which makes me think that something changed about template. But I'm not sure. Template. Now, is this still a HTML template? It is. Okay. Let me double check. So we are currently on, go version is 1.16.5 and go 1.16 HTML template. Ooh. Okay. HTML template. Yeah, so this is the new FS package, but the FS package didn't really do anything. Okay. HTML template and text parse FS functions read templates from an FS. Okay. But that is not quite... Yeah, that's not quite what we are doing, so interesting. And it is still template.new, .parse. That's still a thing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened. And it's messing with me. So for anybody that may have just joined, more or less what we are attempting to do is debug why a piece of code that did not change has suddenly decided that it's angry with. I wonder. Didn't think so. And we've got this on both this template and we've got this on subs template, if I remember correctly. Yeah, the exact same thing. And yet, nope, give sub is also, okay. So it's consistently borked. Which is interesting. I wish that I could scroll that. I think I'm gonna have to scroll this. Let's see here. HTML template cannot. Is it saying that it cannot use template.parse? You know what? Hold on. There's an easier way to do this. Sadly. Cannot use template.parse value of type error as error value in assignment. Why? When did that become a thing? Chat, am I losing my mind? I feel like I'm losing my mind. Hello, Cthulhu. Oh, interesting. That doesn't show up in the Streamlabs chat. What a surprise. Oh, that's right, because they block out all the ASCII art because who remembers the Twitch storm? Oh, the Twitch storm. Okay. So I feel like even the template.parse maybe we can do this. The template here would be template.parse would be the error. So then how's it going, mate? Welcome to the lab where we've actually shifted the timeline back. You ready for some Foundry later? I say totally not voluntelling you. Oh man. You come at a time where I'm trying to figure out why a piece of code has suddenly started to break when I never touched it. I feel like we were talking about this not too long ago. It's like a piece of code that's been written and you don't touch it. You're touching other pieces of code, but you're not touching this piece of code. And then all of a sudden that piece of code suddenly decides, nah. Code mold. Exactly. But the question be, where'd the mold come from? I thought this code was in a hermetically sealed environment. Let's see here. I'm trying to think if there's a better way to do this. I feel like maybe the only once.do is not necessary. I'm gonna go on a limb. I'm not sure that I'm gonna like this limb, but we gonna try it anyway. Dot parse. Which, yes, I do kind of sort of want to try the new FS package, but I'm not sure that I'm gonna do that here. Template error. Aha. So we don't need that. We can more or less move this up here. What? 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 Ladies and gentlemen, it worked. I don't get it. All I did was move it to... Whatever. That is so weird. That it suddenly doesn't like... I'm gonna try something with the other one. Because now I'm curious. Oops. Let's see here. I want over to here. Is it... Is it because of that? Nope. Huh. Okay. That is quite confusing. So for just to kind of put some thought to the confusion that has been on my brain for the last 15 minutes. So what we did before, the way that we built this before, was actually built off of a blog post from one of Google's or one of Go's own release blogs about how to most effectively use HTML template in an endpoint. And so what we've got here is basically the pattern. You have this once mutex, which basically ensures that the block of code only runs once. And inside of that block of code, we were only going to run template.parse. And so we template.parse, we assign it to this variable. If there's an error, then we spit that out. Off we go. Except that for some reason, this is suddenly changed. This has suddenly decided that it's not happy with this approach for reasons. Yeah, undeclared name error, which is a thing that you would normally do that for, but you can't do that because, error is declared but not used, except that it's declared. Oh, right, this is why. This is why. I mean, maybe we could do that, but that doesn't really make sense. Yeah, and it's still airing out. So template declared but not used, because we're using the. I've heard of many words for this operator. I like Python's definition of the walrus operator. I can't unsee that. I can't unsee walrus operator. And maybe Go calls it the walrus operator. I wonder. Golang, walrus operator. Do they call it the walrus operator? Oh, they do? Yeah. They don't. Okay. I mean, in Go, it's just short variable declarations, and you have this thing, but I don't see any mention of the word walrus. So, in Python, they call it the walrus operator, which is like it's like a shorthand, I think, for if none. Walrus operator. Yeah, there we go. Assignment expressions. Blah blah blah. You're allowed to combine, so walrus equals false. Print walrus. Print walrus equals true. Yes, do things. I don't understand it. There it is. So this is kind of something that we already do in Go. Like, we get this this syntax in Go already, but you mostly see it in if statements, and range statements. But yeah, I am never going to be able to unhear the walrus operator. It's so good. All right, so we don't need that. We're fine on that. So, but this is how they basically recommended that we do it, and now it's a compiler error. And it seems that the only way to get it to work is to do this. Although I'm kind of curious, because this is a very different scope, and I'm pretty sure this variable gets lost. I'm fairly confident this variable gets lost, so we'll test that here in just a second, but I need to run and grab my coffee, so I'll be right back. So I could play this off as blah blah blah, but my shame is funnier. So not only did I not push the power button on the coffee maker, I hadn't even put water in the coffee maker. I put the coffee grinds in there. I got the carafe ready. How you gonna make coffee without water? And how you gonna, you know, have the coffee machine make the coffee? You don't click the power button on. It's just one of those mornings. How you do? So, while the coffee is brewing, we're gonna keep going. While I was wallowing in my shame, as I was pouring water into the coffee machine, I had a thought. Kind of curious as to HTML template fs.fs. The new, shall we say, what do you want to call it? The new, it's not really new at this point, but I really wanted to poke around with the embed idea, which is, let's see here. Go embed HTML template fs. I actually wanted to try this because I think this was called out in a stream a while ago. This is terrible. This is very terrible. And I don't disagree, to be perfectly honest. Oh, hi, Ping. Ping and Pong. Ping and Pong going nutsoid. How you doing? But go embed. So Go embed is a feature that came about in Go 1.16, I think it was, or was it 1.15? I think it was 1.15. Embed. I actually can't remember which version it came in, but effectively what it does is it allows you to include a file, and using a special type of comment, this go embed comment, it effectively embeds that file into the Go binary and makes it available as a variable. And it can be one of a string, the contents of the file, a byte slice, which is handy for other things, or Go's new FS, the file system abstraction. And the embed for files for a file system more or less allows you to do stuff like this. So if you have static assets, for example, you can embed them and you get this embed.fs, which is their new kind of interface. Which is really freaking cool. Now, the reason that that I wanted to look at this more or less is because now embed.fs I probably won't use as much because it's more for individual, or for a folder, a directory of files to be embedded and traversed. For what we want to do, I more or less just want to take this template and yeet it into a HTML file. And in fact, we could actually make this a singular template. Because if you noticed, all these templates are basically the same thing. The difference is the label and then the variable that we extract. So I think that we can make this better, potentially better, and most importantly, we can get this splattering of HTML in the center of our Go code out of our Go code. Let's see here. So let's do this with the last sub view. Why not? Since this one is currently not working anyway. So we're gonna take you, and we're going to add you to, let's see here. Hey, really, Frank? Thanks so much for stopping by. Welcome to the lab. How you doing, mate? Need to drop, but want us to come in and say hello? Thank you, mate. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll talk to you a little bit later. Well, hey, are you ready to find your path? Anybody that doesn't know, I know. Sorry, can't think of one in real life, and why he's put up with me for what's it been? 11 years? 12 years? How long has it been now? Holy crap! It's been a long time. Why he puts up with me this long, I have no idea. That face, case in point. Why do I put up with this guy? Oh, table flip. Oh, table flip. No worries, mate, though. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll talk to you here in a little bit. All right. Let's see here. Let's just drop this into metric label .html. Why not? Metric label.html. I'm just gonna drop you into here. Too far. We'll have something like this. So we got our section, got our interval for our content. Fetch, and then here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna change this to don't be auto updating. Yeah, let's include it. I swear you are gonna. And then r dot. Field name. Okay. So now the thing is that this is no longer valid HTML / JavaScript. So now it's going to complain at me. And now I'm kind of curious. Is there a better way? Is there a better way to do that? I don't know. Let's find out. So if we do r dot name, now we could do something interesting. Find out. Okay, so this is still just borked. The refreshing view. That is an API endpoint. The label will also be a string. Excuse me. And the data will also be a string. So what we can do is we can interpolate this perhaps. Yeah, we can maybe interpolate this in an interesting way. Let's find out. But more or less what I'm doing is I'm just adding some pieces to this mix to make the template a little bit more sane-ish. And there's also a potential opportunity. This is something that I used to do in the Spring Boot world with Timeleaf templates, I think it was. One of the draws of Timeleaf over the existing tech JSPs was that Timeleaf was just plain old HTML. So what you could do is you could define your HTML, like just a regular HTML page. You could open that HTML page so you could actually see it, what it looks like, and then you just add Timeleaf tags on top of the existing HTML, and magically it just starts to work programmatically. That's usually not how it happened, just to be clear. But there was no denying that being able to like actually open the HTML file and see how things looked without having to have a running server and having to start up the app and the database and have that connectivity running and blah, 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 blah. There was something to be said for that just working, which was great. So, minor rant on that what I'm more or less trying to do with the metric label is I'm trying to keep this as standard HTML as I possibly can. But there's a thing. Now, the other thing that we could do, well, no, because it wouldn't be fetching the page over and over again. So there was a thought of instead of doing this, perhaps we could do what is this thing? What is oh, I see the problem. I see the problem. This indentation is off by 1. Doop. There we go. I was wondering why that was bothering me. And now we move all that over 1. Okay. Sorry, my eye caught an indentation there and I was like, why? Can you tell I've been using Python for a little while? My eye is just like constantly scanning indentation going, is that the right indentation? I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyway, so what I'm trying to do is I am trying to keep this as vanilla HTML and JavaScript as I possibly can, because it makes it a little bit easier to debug. A little bit. But so the label, I think, makes sense. What would be kind of handy is if, not if we destroyed everything. It would be kind of handy if the return just had a data field on it. And then that way, if this that way we can basically use the exact same template for all of those labels. But that does mean that, let's see here, I need to go back to server. And this needs to be called data. So if all of these things return a field called data, then we can effectively interpolate into the same template, which is Lori. And then here we add label is last gifter. And now we do need to that to do. We do still need to get this part done, but embedding that template more or less brings these functions down to this. Glorious. I mean, hell, we could even turn that into an even further simplified function, but gotta get down here first. All right. So parse to do. Label is last sub. No, I can't remember. This did not have does not have the semicolon, but I feel like we could include that just for view purposes. For the sake of simplicity of the view, then we just have to do that. So that's a last sub, that's a last gifter. JSON must be data. Note. Response must be a data field for the common metric HTML template. HTML. HTML, nah, we ain't about that life. HTML. HTML. Oh, that's true, because TOML did kind of take over the Rust world, and what was the other language that did TOML? TOML for their markup language. Oh no. Anyway. The constant debate of what markup language do we use for our configuration? YAML? TOML? I'm not even gonna XML? You are building a new product and you are pondering whether or not you should use XML for your configuration. Say no. But Medj, XML doesn't have the same indentation problems. Yes, but I hate typing tags. Anyway, okay, so anything else that we need to do for this? I don't think so. Now we just need to embed the template. So embedding the template, we could do this. Strings and bytes. Go embed directive requires it importing embed, even when using string or byte. In source files that don't refer to embed.fs, use a blank import. Sense. I use YAML because I'm used to it. Yeah. Docker and Kubernetes definitely pushed YAML to a very high level of usage. I'm not gonna lie, I do kind of wish that there was a better answer for knowing where indentations were. Specifically, I don't really have this problem as much in Docker Compose, but in Kubernetes YAMLs, woof. Like trying to do a Helm template and trying to remember for a stateful set, I think it is. It's like you have spec, template, some other stuff, blah. And then your volume mount template is supposed to go on the same level as spec, but if it's way down at the bottom of the file, where it's supposed to be, then you have a hard time remembering which line the indentation was. And there was a plugin, I think, for Vim that showed like individual lines for YAML indentation. Vim show YAML indentation. Oh man, that's gonna bother me. I mean, you have the simple stuff like this, just adding like a white space marker, Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. So there's like lines that it will draw. Although this one, I don't really like the look of this, but it just draws lines to show you where each of the indentation blocks are. And I know some IDEs have like a really, really fancy feature of you can like hover over a line and it'll tell you what the indentation block is. So like if you put your cursor over this, it'll tell you that that block is tasks. Yeah. I just haven't installed one, to be perfectly honest. And then you look at something like Atom or Visual Studio Code, and it's like, yeah, we just do this. Well, I'm in them. I think this is what I was thinking of. It's like these colored bars, but the problem is that when you start getting into really indented YAML, you get like a rainbow vomit of color next to your YAML blocks. It's great. Okay, let's see here. So I think something that we could do from a simplicities standpoint, we could just pass the template in. So in our main function, we could collect that template as an embedded file, and we could pass that variable, sorry, an embedded file as a string, but then we could just pass that string into the server. Is kind of what I'm thinking. So we would be adding on to the server. So we would be adding something like label HTML is a string. Label, this would be label HTML. I saw it before. I saw that that little yellow double dash. Like, hey, you done goofed. Like, yes, I saw it. Let's see here. So we could do this, or we could make this a template.template. So we could be super cheeky. And this could be label HTML. What is it? HTML string is a string. Is he gonna yell at me about that? Yeah. Label HTML string. HTML is does mess with me a little bit, but so then for this, we can just do a not that. We do need this, so we do a server dot label HTML equals template dot new metric label. Yeah. And then do we have a must version? We don't. Okay, so that's fine. So we'll parse the label HTML string. So effectively what I'm doing is I'm moving this logic further down. So template error equals template.parse, template.new.parse. If error does not equal to nil, then we do a thing, log.fatal. There we go. Failed to parse metrics label HTML template. Undeclared name log. Oh, right, because it's called logger. I use that same log bit for a project at work, but there I called it log, and here I call it logger, and it messes with my brain. Oh no. srv dot label html equals template. That ain't how you do that. There we go. So basically what we're doing is, instead of parsing 3 different templates that are all the exact same thing, we've now moved that template parsing up into what is effectively the startup function for the server. Parse HTML label for reuse. That was backwards. Label metrics label. HTML template for reuse by the view handlers. We're kind of in a nice convenience mode right now because all of the handlers use the exact same template. They just change the label. But now that we actually have that, we can move that parse logic out of the handlers, which are currently breaking anyway. And what we can do is we can go back to, say, bits handler. And the label is going to be last bits. We don't need the only once. We don't need that. We don't need that. We actually don't need any of this. This is pretty much the exact same thing. And then we're going to do s dot label html dot execute. And now our functions are super fucking easy. Now this is a bit of a problem. Well, actually, no, it's not, because we don't actually send I just realized that I did that. Anybody else see that? This is where copy pasta kind of messes with me. Trying GitHub's Copilot. Really impressed by the suggestions it gives me while coding Go. Ooh. So I only saw the we'll call it the controversy around Copilot, which, yeah, okay, fine, you know. It's a whole thing. It's scanning things. Like, what do you think they were going to train it on? So while you're coding, Copilot is like making suggestions like, hey, instead of doing this, you should do this. That's really cool. That would be really cool and really handy to like learn stuff, which I think is what the whole point of that thing was in the first place. Ooh. That would be really freaking cool. Copilot.github.com. A click. Your AI pair programmer. What? Oh, that's wild. That is really wild. All right. Well, I know what I'm looking at later. That is so cool. Oh, all right. So we get rid of this. We get rid of this. We change this to s.label.html. We just change the label. We execute. And the only thing that we have to ensure is that the JSON is data. Don't think it works in Vim though? Yeah. Story of my bloody life. But alas. Oh, is that what that's complaining about? Oh. Do I not have? Hello? Gonna fix that later. Sorry, I was confused because I was trying to do a COC rename, and it wasn't letting me do so. Anyway, so that doesn't need to be a thing. Change that to s.label.html.execute. And there we go. Now, but with the server, we now need label HTML string to be passed in as a thing, and that happens in main.go. And note, go embed metrics label.html var metrics HTML string, and then this gets passed as metrics HTML. And now we do need to add the embed import. And then what did I call it? Metric label, not metrics label. That is so cool. Okay, hold on. This is a comment that has some special semantics for when it's actually getting built, but it's a comment, and the compiler will tell me when I done goofed. That is so good. That is so good. This is why I love Go. The tool chain is just so good. Now, one thing that I always do whenever I, well, shall we say, whenever I add files like that are now relevant, I always jump back to the Docker file. Now, in this particular case, we have a copy dot to user source app. Is okay. Ooh. Don't know what that was, but sure. Do I have a Docker ignore? I don't have a Docker ignore. Huh. Let me just go ahead and delete that OAuth folder, because that OAuth folder is not going to be used. How are we looking on Go build? Go embed cannot apply to var inside func. Oh, you have to you have to do it outside of the main function. Got it. So if I do that, I have to do like that. Okay. Metrics label HTML for the metrics views. Go baller. That is so good. That is so good. Now, we've been doing all of that to fix errors, which actually wasn't the poll. I actually don't remember where we were with the poll feature, to be perfectly honest. All of this was just to fix the bloody code. But hey, along the way, we got to use a new feature. That's kind of cool. Let's see if it still works though. Oh. Last bit's undefined. Okay. So I had to restart it, which was not great. Though, okay, so I wonder if that's because it was a hot reload. But it did get there. There's a lot of code that's been changed for this. Oh my goodness. There's so much that has been changed for this. So let me just do a quick recap of everything that we've just been doing. So when we started the stream, we had this really weird error that suddenly cropped up, and the only thing that I had really done is updated my Go environment. The code itself hadn't actually changed, and what we were running into is this old method that used to be the recommendation for how to do template parsing inside of a handler. Was you have this only once sync variable, ensures that the function is only run once, and then you have these references to the template and an error, only once.do, parse the template, so effectively every time that this is called, it will ensure that that template is only parsed once, and then we do the whole thing of create the refreshing view, template.execute, template.execute gets written out to the view, and that's the labels up at the top of chat that you see for last bits, last sub, last gifter. So that wasn't working. So more or less what we did is, number one, we took a dive in actually trying out the go embed comment, which is glorious. Super bloody easy. Let's see here. By using the go embed directive and having that in main, now we can actually move all of that logic for read the template, parse the template, turn it into a thing that can actually be used by the rest of the handlers. We just moved that into the server, and now the server does it for us. And now it's just available to the handlers. Now, what we just noticed, though, is that that apparently is not very good for hot reload, which is not terrible, all things considered, but it could be better. But it technically works. Yeah, so that was more or less the TLDR for fixing that problem. And I kind of want to do that as an individual fix, although yeah, so we're not going to have that feature, so I'm probably going to remove that feature. And then last time what we were doing is we were basically just condensing the idea of a cache, if I remember correctly. We condensed the idea of a cache into something a little bit simpler and added a couple of things that a couple of helper methods that we didn't have previously. So it'd be like getter default, append, so on and so forth. And that was more or less used for these. And then we start getting into the poll. So I'm going to read through the poll code here in just a second. Not sure what that changes. So let's start with the basics. So let's go with git diff main.go. Git diff main.go. There we go. So we got this change. Make sure the cache is the same as the bot. Data store is this. I don't think we really need to change anything there, so we should be fine just to add main.go. Git diff server. So actually we can do server bits handler, server subs handler. Trying to figure out if there's an easy way to do this without the polls. And with that, I think the answer is no. So let's just go into the server. And for the sake of simplicity, let's just comment that out. Server. So what I'm doing is I'm just making smaller commits. So this is... So that's not quite... So we don't really need to mess with the getDiff bot. That was just renaming it to data store, which is fine. That's the new poll handler. Man handler isn't really doing anything. Oh, receive event became an exported function. And then the bot. Yeah, so I don't think we need to do anything on the bot for this commit. At least as far as I can tell. Yeah, so those are fine. We can leave those where they are. Oh, we do need to add the metric label. And is there anything that we want to add to the cache at this point? Probably not. We can break that up. So get commit m, fix. Let's see here. Fix metrics labels by moving template to embedded file. So that's cleared out. Now we could add all of the bot logic, but let's see here. Let's see what the bot. Oh, and before I forget, since I commented that out, get diff bot.go. Yeah, so the bot has all the poll items that I don't believe are actually working right now. So I think we're back to this. Effectively, that chunk of work is actually related to the poll. You could say that we could split that out. Yeah, I think we should actually split that out. Git stash, git checkout dash B. We're gonna call this template fix. And then git push origin current branch. Ooh. Why is it asking me to sign into GitHub? It is asking me to sign into GitHub. Hello. Why is that happening? All right, give me just a sec. Let me get signed into GitHub, I guess. Use security key. Do that. There we go. All right. Put that like so. So basically what I'm doing is I'm just, the poll handler for receiving events, so it is there, that's fine. Metric label, bits handler. The bloody poll handler got in there, shite. That's okay. I'm not gonna worry about it too much, at this point at least. So yeah, this is add go embed for template, which now works for all metrics use. Let's see here. Move parse logic to server startup. which I usually don't like to have side effects in the constructors. I'm mostly making an exception for this one because we've kind of already moved towards that pattern. So it kind of sort of makes sense to have it there now. Kind of. And I don't think I really want to do anything else for that. But here we go. Yes, this is this does include a little bit of poll specific functionality, or at least poll specific functionality that's not being used. I am admittedly being lazy about it. I know. I'm being lazy. Sorry. I'm sorry. So you know what? Let's also get rid of the that code in main.go for the unsafe WebSocket. We're not going to be implementing that feature. The alerts for the WebSocket and all that fun. We're not going to be doing that. Unsafe WebSocket. I don't even think that's a. Oh, it's the alerts handler. Right. This is in bot. Okay. Yeah, so we'll get rid of that. RM bot alert handler. Nope, it's not even in there. Yes. Go mod tidy. That is a thing. Go mod tidy. Josh should probably do a go get -u, but we'll do that here soon. That gets rid of that. It also gets rid of all of the quote-unquote unsafe WebSocket code, which we don't use. To get at all of that, get commit m, remove unused alert code. Which again, we're not really going to use because we're not going to implement that feature. That was an early attempt to do an on-screen like alert box. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that one. That one is an interesting feature. I think if we had spent a little more time on the on-screen features, but we're kind of moving away from a lot of the on-screen features, other than the metrics labels, obviously. So I think that's pretty much it. We delete a lot of code in this PR, which is great. Because what's the best kind of code, or what's the best kind of code that doesn't break? Code that doesn't exist. Polling the chat. Any disagreements to merging this PR? Go generate. What is go generate? I'll get into that in a little bit. I got a thumbs up. Good enough for me. I say as the rest of chat is like, no. Let's see here. Let's close that. Merge that. Use my administrative privilege to merge this pull request. Don't do this in like an actual project. Like, get proper approvals on the PR. And merge. All right. So now, get check out main, get pull, get branch -d template fix. Get check out pull, get rebase master. Get diff main.go. Ah, yes. So, get add main. Get rebase. Continue. That's right, I rebased. I've come around to because I have this get rebase main command. I've come around to the idea of rebasing feature branches. I kind of like it. I kind of like the linear history that it produces, and it's surprisingly simple. Which status HRC base main is just a get fetch origin and get rebase origin main. That's basically what it is. All right, get stash pop, and now we're back to where we were. Now, let's see if we're still working. We are still working. Okay. What time is it? 9:30. Okay. Let me take a quick, call it 2 to 3 minute break. I'm gonna go and grab the coffee that I totally didn't brew earlier. Probably grab something real quick to eat, and then we'll come back and try to finish off the rest of this poll code. So, BRB. And the best part of waking up is a cat getting under your feet as you're trying to come up the stairs. Hey, Zelda. Yeah, I'm talking about you. Want to come up and say hi? I'm actually inviting you up for once. TLDR, as I was coming back upstairs, Zelda is usually the best when it comes to like not getting under your feet. I was coming upstairs and I felt my foot touch the top of her back, and I panicked and I jumped a little bit. So I gave her just the lightest of taps, but I was running up the stairs. If I'd had actually stepped and she hadn't moved, probably would have broken the poor thing. That's terrifying. Oh my god. All right. So, now that we are all awake, let's see here. So that's all good. Let's get back into the pole handler. Now, the thing about the pole handler is that I don't think it was actually working. Right? Yeah. Yeah. So what we needed to do is we needed to figure out for the, I think it was the server pole handler was how we were starting the poll. Yep, sure was. And this is where I was going back and forth, by the way. Because obviously Twitch has a poll handler built in, or a poll system built in. So I was trying to think of how is this useful? How is this poll useful? The only way that it would really be useful, truly useful, is if we had it on screen. And, that might be a little outside of that particular implementation timeline. But in theory, the bot runs the poll, bot starts the poll, question and answers, and then I think the remaining question was, okay, so we are already sending the message. And then from here, I think we were attempting to do a vote. Okay, so let me see here. How do I want to do this? This is where having a one of those HTML what is it called? Or HTTP command X runners would be useful. If you've never seen them, they're like some IDs have. You can click into a file. This file is just a collection of like REST APIs, request response expectations, and you can just click on them. I wonder if Vim has something like that. But more or less, what it would look like is curl-x post -d. This is where our JSON would go. Localhost 8080/polls. Now this should fail. Yep. And ooh, it failed massively. Hello. Bot 109. Bot.poll running. Bot.poll running is a bool. Because I didn't initialize it? I thought it initialized to false. Hang on. Zelda is fighting with the food bowl. 1 second. I have some of those automatic feeders for the cats, because it's like the only way that I can actually feed them without them ballooning. And Zelda has unfortunately figured out that you can basically headbutt the things like really hard, and food pops out. I think she has a little bit of Dane Bramage. She might have a little bit of Dane Bramage after smashing her head into the thing over and over again. But anyway, all right, so, or was this because? No, that's exactly what it should have been. Oh, maybe it's because of maybe it's because of the thing. How's it going, mate? Thank you so much for stopping by. Welcome to the lab. How you doing? Why am I a legend? What'd I do? What'd I do? I didn't do it. Or did I do it? I don't know. Did I do it? What's going on, mate? All of it? Oh no. Did this fail because the bot wasn't handed over? Handed over? Yes. Server create poll. Failed to call bot. Oh, bot 110. Well, no, that'd be fine because it would be down one row. Yep, so that's 110. Poll handler. That's not what I'm trying to do. Is it failing because of this? No. No. Sorry. Server poll handler is what I'm looking for. Is the server bot nil? This is where a debug server would be very handy. T, and then bot equal to nil. Or a s.bot equal to nil. I don't know why that would be nil, though. Especially at that point. Bot nil true. Well, yeah, that would explain the nil pointer dereference, but why is it nil? Did I not do the thing where, I'm supposed to be the smart? You know, that thing? So there's the bot. Am I not passing the bot? Hey chat. I'm not passing the bot to the server. So yeah, that would oh my god. This makes me so sad. Bot is a bot.bot. And this becomes bot, it becomes a bot. That does a thing. Oh, I'm so sad. All right, may not go. Now, question is, does that now work? This happy? This is happy. Oh. Ooh, shouldn't allow that. All right, so we got some things to do, but at least that part's not borked anymore. So let's come back here. We don't need the bot as nil. Poll already running. So we should definitely do some validations up here. And then let's see here. So if question, we want turn. So here, this is a, well, nah, this is just a invalid request body, missing question. So question cannot be empty. I think there's a validator, but validator? Why did I say it that way? Hello. I think there's a way to validate. Oh, and technically this wouldn't be a 400, it would be a 422. I don't care. Aha. I think there's a way to validate within the JSON itself instead of writing it explicitly like this. Missing needs at least one answer. I think there are validator functions and such that you can do, or you could just inspect the tags manually, which is interesting but kind of wild, that you could add to the struct. I'm just not using it at the moment. For invalid request, invalid request body. Let's actually change this up. Request missing question. Actually make it request body missing question. So more or less what I'm trying to do is prevent what I just did, which is now I've got a poll that's already running, but the poll is empty, which is not ideal. So we go back here, whoops. Oh, I didn't give it enough time to shut down. Request body missing question. There we go. And so now we have question and answers. So here, question. Is the poll working? Answers. Well, this is our test, which that shouldn't have happened. That shouldn't have happened at all. Hello? Oh, request that answer. You should always make sure that your copy pasta is on point, because if your copy pasta is not on point, you're gonna be very sad. There. So now I think we do need a. Well, no, we don't need a. We don't need an extra response. So answers is just yes, no. And if we do this, then it fails out with an invalid request body. Do like that. I think that just, yeah. Error, failed to unmarshal create request. Error is invalid character after array element. That error message is so bad. It's so bad. But if we do that, starting new poll, is the poll working? So that means that it made it all the way down to here. Question, answers. but we haven't actually sent the message that was expected. Now the question is, does that require pull? That don't look like it's working. That awkward moment when. But we are at least down to here. A poll is already running, so we're not doing we're not erroring out in the way that we are expecting to, which is great. Or not expecting to, I should say. But now there's nowhere to hide. Since you pushed my love aside. And that song just immediately started playing in my head, like, no! So what we can do, and what we probably should do, is we should post in the chat poll handler. Now we didn't get this though. Is that because I don't have the poll handler registered? Yep, sure is. Okay. So we've got reader enabled, raids enabled, bits enabled, subs enabled. Will be the same thing. If config dot, or what was it? Conf dot. Let's just enable all for now. We'll add a configuration for Bolt enabled here soon. Chatbot dot register poll handler, which takes nothing, which is rare for most of our handlers. Yeah, we should add a poll enabled. I was like, do I actually want to? Really should. Oh, there's a feature that should not exist. So this is polls enabled. Polls enabled. I really need to figure out why that happens. That doesn't happen on my work Vim. So what I did there is I changed word poll, but now I've got an autofill, but I don't know why it does that. Here we go. All right, so config value polls.enabled. Do I have grades, bits, subs, gift subs, polls enabled? True. Do something like that, just to make it a little more in line with everything else. So if conf.polls enabled or enable all. There. So now, give that a second to stop. Redo. Restart the poll. Now what would be handy is that when I start the poll that it immediately posts to the chat. Yeah, there we go. And we also need to alter that. Oh, geez. So sorry, guys. I know I keep going BRB, but BRB one more second. Cats. And I'm back. Sorry about that. And I really hate that that clears out the chat window every time. Oh boy. Slobs be slacking. Oh, this still works. Hey, it still works. Yay. That moment when you have a Stream Deck, but you don't trust that the Stream Deck actually does what you think it does. All right. So, number one, just in terms of looking at this, I would really like for the bot to send a message when the poll starts. So here, bot dot send message. So we'll say poll started. And then for here, so apparently the general consensus is not to send multiple messages from a bot, just so that the message is, if you have multiple messages, like 3 messages in a row, but then somebody comments in between it, that's kind of the convention that people recommend not doing. But let's see here. Args. There we go. pvt.message equals fmt.sprintf. This is a little trick that I've been using over and over and over again. Except that how do you do this? Or does it spread this direction? Yeah, spread that direction. Sorry. It's a little trick that I'm trying to remember who showed this to me. Was it you, really, Frank? I feel like it was you that showed me this trick. In emulating or in passing through or making functions more printf-like or format-like whenever you're sending messages, you just give this, and if there is a format, then fantastic. If there's not a format, then just works as it originally did. Well, what that allows me to do is for a function that is mine, I can say poll started question %s, and then we can add in things here, and it's my own function, and yet the function is telling me, hey, you've got a format, but you've not passed any args. That is so freaking handy. Bot.poll question, and then formatted answers is going to be, here we're going to need so we'll just use like that. And so for formatted answers, what we want to do is we want to take the yes no format, and we want to we should probably store that message, shouldn't we? Yeah, we should probably store that message. Or we should just make it a function. That's what we should really do. Let's see here. So bot dot send poll message, And then so func bot send poll message is basically a proxy for the bot.send message. Send poll message. I swear. Send poll message sends the current poll poll message if a poll is running. Just make it a little bit safer. So if bot.poll running, okay, so, or rather, if not bot.poll running, return. Otherwise, now formatted answers is going to be basically just for each answer in the slice, we're just going to assign it a number, its index, and we're going to append that into a string. So formatted answers equals nothing. For, and it's index answer equals range bot dot poll answers. And this would be t.sprintf %d %s, and that would be the index and the answer accordingly. Well, we would want to do a separator, something like that. And there we go. Now we could assign the formatted answers to the bot. I think it's as little as makes no difference. Like, this takes no time at all to do. Yeah, I don't think we need to get that clever. At least not right now. So question is bot.question, and that is the formatted answers. And what we want to do is in the bot poll handler, we want to do bot.send poll message. And let's go back to the bot because I feel like... No? Okay. So let's come back, or actually let's go back to the bot poll handler. And then down here, that's just not used. Sweet. Go run main.go. Fire off a poll. That's not quite it. So off by 1 error, or off by -1 error? Yeah. IDX +1. Yes. So then the bot poll handler. Now I think we already accounted for the vote. I wonder. 1. Why not? So what we can do... I'm kind of curious. Okay, good. So that part's working. Could somebody in chat throw out a 1 or a 2, just like I've just done? That is very handy. Now, what we are going to have to... Yay. Perfect. Thank you. Okay. So... In an ideal world, or I should say in the way future world, what would be really cool to have is if while you all were doing things like that, so using basically 1, 2, yada yada, to vote, that would be updating like on a widget or something up here, and it would just be keeping track of the number of votes for each answer. Maybe we can do a basic version of that. Maybe. But yeah. That was kind of the idea that was in my head when we initially came up with the polls, was that there would be a label or something well, up there that that would just keep track of, here's the poll, here's the question, here are the answers, and then next to each answer would be a count of how many people have voted for each one. Now, whether we get to that or not is to be determined. But so that's actually not half bad. So we got that part. So we've got the poll creation, the poll message, and we are receiving the poll. Now, with the results, where is the result? Bot.close poll. So when we close the poll, poll's not running. Now, before we do all of that, we do want to send a closing message. So we would do something like, well, so here we would need to count each vote, send message, poll results, answer something one with %D votes. Do something like that, maybe. And yes, I'm typing out winning answer, and then count. It'll be something like that. Give me two. Let's see here. Actually, I'm kind of curious. Did that do anything? Nope. It's still just 1, 2, and 2. Sweet. Which I think we did enforce that in order to vote, you could only say the number. If you put anything else in your chat message, it wouldn't count it. Because to be fair, I'm being lazy. But we would count each vote, and then we send the message that says which poll answer won. And then after that, we get a log close, the poll closes, and we're done. Now, the thing that we could do here, though, is if not bot.poll running, bot.send message, no poll running. And then the question, we can go back to the empty string. And then we assign poll answers to the empty list. Closing poll. Yay! All right, so 3 minutes later, the poll closed. So we've got the majority of it. Let's go ahead and do a... we got a lot of code. So I'm going to do a thing that I normally recommend not doing, which is git add dot. but git commit m. So add endpoint for creating new poll, add handler for collecting poll answers, bot.close poll needs to send results. I'm going to push that up to a branch just so that we have it. We did rebase, right? Yes. So now the question becomes the last thing that we need to do is counting each vote. So for this, bot poll handler. For this, we can basically just grab poll answers, and then we'll have to parse that out into a series of, well, answers. How do I want to do? How do I want to do that? I could do something simple. So answers bot.datastore.get poll answers. So answers error if error not equal to nil, logger dot error fail to fetch poll answers to close poll. And then this needs to pass the original error. Return. And so now once we get this this key, we've got answer string. We'll need to parse this out. So strings dot split answer string, and so split answers equals strings dot split. And what we really need to do is we need to go through each answer, strictcomb them to an integer, and then just apply a count to apply a count to, what do we want to do? Do we want to do a map, or do we want to just do a simple slice? I feel like a simple slice should be fine. So what we'll do here is we'll do answer counts equals make slice of integers, and for the size we want len of bot dot poll answers. I'm trying to double check to make sure that logic is correct, which I think it is. We could make it, instead of a slice, we could make it an array of size len bot poll answers. I'm kind of going back and forth on which one I want to do. So effectively what I'm doing is I'm creating a slice of just integers. So these are all going to be 0 by default. And then I'm grabbing the poll answers, splitting them. So right now, if we look at the metrics.txt, poll answers is a string, a comma delimited string of 1, 2, 2. So each of those are going to come in as a string. And then here we do for answer range split answers. Well, technically this would be an answer string. Answer equals strictcomb dot a to I. Now there's a version format. Is it format int? No. It is just A to I. Strcomp A to I, answer string. So this technically becomes an error. If error does not equal to nil, we're going to be graceful about this. So we're going to say logger dot warn. Oops. Logger dot warn. Answer %s is not a valid number. Skipping. Okay. Otherwise, answer counts, answer -1 ++. Oh, this would be oh, right. It's underscore answer string because the first element is the index. I keep forgetting to do that. Okay. Very simple algorithm, by the way. So I kept turning the keyboard song on. We'll do like that. Okay. So the poll answers looks like that. Split is more or less this. Answer counts is going to hold the counts for each of those answers, and then we can more or less do a max function. Find the index of the largest. Or we could use a little bit of extra memory and say let's see here. Winning index. Winning index and winning count is an integer. Yes. Or will it? We could do something like that. Answer if so we say if answers counts answer -1 is greater than, it has to be greater than. And yes, we are going to go with like for tiebreakers, if you will. We're not going to handle more or less. Do we want to handle them? I feel like we want to handle them. Yeah, I feel like we want to handle them. So I double back on what I was about to say, which was more or less something to the effect of, in the case of a tiebreaker, we would then have to choose: is it the first one or the second one that wins? And realistically, like in a real poll, you would want to see the tiebreakers for first. So yeah. So I think we're gonna handle tiebreakers. Now, question becomes, how are we going to do? I mean, the highest is going to be counts. Is there a handy way to do max? I feel like the answer is probably just going to be just range and max. Golang slice max value. I have looked this up before. There is no built-in. Cool. Okay. Ba-ba-da-ba-da. Yeah, figures. So min equals the first element, iterate through, you do a thing. Please only post code, but provide an explanation. The explanation is the code. Well, all right. And we've already accounted for when poll answers is empty. So we basically don't allow that as a state. So we can kind of sort of build on that. So this is answer counts 0. And then we will need the index. And we will also need to collect those indexes. So winning answer is going to be an empty string, but oh yeah, no, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. I need to think about this. I actually need to think through this. So what we want to do is we want to find the highest value, and then for any value that that equals that highest value, we're effectively going to grab that that answer and that answer count and append that to this winning answers string. But first, we just find the highest. So, so we could do a highest index so that we catch that. So highest index equals 0 for index count. So we want to do if count is greater than or equal to answers counts highest index, then here highest index equals 90x. So what this does is it just finds the highest index. It's more or less just telling us like which value to look at. And then we have to do, or then we do this piece, which is now that we know the highest index, now we can range through it again. So it's not ideal, or at least you would think that it's not ideal, but it's simple. It's simple to follow, which is the key. Now, what we could also do is we could probably collapse these two. I'm going naive for a moment. Yeah, I'm gonna go naive for a moment. But the other thing to keep in mind is that these indexes are effectively lined up with each other. We could have made this a little bit easier, I think, with a map. Yeah, we'll revisit this. We'll definitely revisit this. But the simple approach for index count is range of answer counts. So let's see here. So if count, or actually what we really need to do is winning answer equals fmt.sprintf, And for here, we've got the oh right, so so this format technically won't work. It would be more like winners, or we could do poll winners, and we could honestly just do a %s here. And so what that would give us is, let's see here, we would have %d %s with %d votes. And so this would be highest index, bot dot poll answers, highest index, answer counts, highest index. There's a lot going on there, but so effectively what we're doing is we're saying we're formatting the answer with the number, the poll number. So in this case, it would be like yes gets a 1, no gets a 2, with blah votes. And then here, what we can do is we can say if count equals answer counts highest index. So format winning response and account for times. So winning answer plus, and it would be this same except yeah, I think I want to add a separate plus equals just to give it a separator. And then we add this one, which is index bot.poll answers. Ooh, not that. That's a very different thing. Index and answer counts index. It's probably being a Vim user. Every once in a while, you'll see me accidentally type a character multiple times, and you think, Freudian slip or Vim user? The difference is difficult. And then finally, it would be poll winners, blah. Now that's a lot. Let's see if it even works, for starters. And we can probably... Nah, we'll just do let's do the same thing. So we got that. Poll started. I'll answer with 1 because I'm being hopeful. And then in about 3 minutes, we should see a message that that tells us whether or not this was actually good or not. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add bot get commit m, and this is going to be count results and show winner. And I'm creating a checkpoint for myself so that I can go back to that checkpoint if I screw up what I'm about to do immensely. So there is a potentially faster or potentially more condensed way of doing this. Let me make sure that the poll answers did reset. It doesn't look like it did. Uh-oh. Oh, is it because, I think it's because we didn't, bot.datastore.clear, voters. Yeah, I think if I look at metrics, voters still includes me. So bot.datastore.clear poll answers, which is already done somewhere. Yeah, it's already done somewhere. Rip grep, clear poll answers. It is done. It's done automatically here. So what we should do is we should probably just have this as part of start poll, I think. Yeah. And we should do a bot.clear poll. We should honestly just have a clear poll function. And the clear poll function will do all of this. So here, bot dot. Okay, so we know that that is bad. So we should fix that. Bot dot clear poll, and then func bot clear poll. Clear poll clears out any existing poll state in the bot and the data store. There we go. So this is technically not necessary to do in both places, unless you account for the fact that clear poll is, if for some reason the bot closed but state had still been written to the cache and then we bring that back up again, it's kind of a safety net for that case. So we clear it, we start a new poll, we do a thing, and we're off. Running is false, question is empty, and then we clear the cache for both of those. And honestly, I think we can probably put that there. Okay. And maybe not, because then that'll get called every time. So ensure poll clears. Yeah, that's what I want to do. All right. So now we got to fix that. There's a couple of things. So we can make this a little bit more condensed, I think, if we changed up the data structure. And so what I'm thinking is if, say, for example, we used a map, would we still... I think we would still need the strconv. No, we would be able to change that. So we wouldn't need the conversion from a string to an integer, because the map keys could be a string. So we could have answer counts m equals make map string integer, and then we wouldn't have to do this part. We would really just have to effectively populate the map. So it'd be for underscore answer string equals range of split answers, and then answer counts answer string equals 0. So this would be initializing the map. And then what we could do is we wouldn't need that anymore. Well, actually no, so it actually wouldn't be the split answers, it would be the existing poll answers. So we would actually need to do IDX, and then we don't actually care about that. This would be bot.poll answers. strcom.I to A. All right. We could just do that. So this ensures that each poll answer is represented in the map, more or less. And this would actually be IDX plus 1. We could get rid of more or less all of this. So we change that. Yeah, but then we would still have to grab the answers, drop that into the map, and then we would just be filtering over, you know. I don't think it really makes sense to try and change it, because we would effectively be doing the same thing. We would be creating the map, populating it with the answers, the answer strings, if you will. We would still have to do the comparison, and we would still be doing the find the highest index, grab that value, grab the winning answer, etc., etc., etc. Although we do need to do this. So if IDX does not equal to highest IDX, if IDX does not equal to highest index, and we should just do this. If IDX equals highest IDX, continue. There are no semicolons in this language. And then if count equals answer counts, we append. Hey, Hector. Thanks so much for stopping by. Welcome to the lab. How you doing? What is a coffee converter? A programmer. In a nutshell, I am an organism that converts caffeine into code. I am so assured of this that I put it on my laptop. And you know that when a developer that, well, specifically, I have a thing about putting stickers on my laptop, so when I do choose to put a sticker on my laptop, you know I mean it. Close that out. But yes, I am an organism that converts caffeine into code. What's wrong with this one? I'm not sure what's wrong with that one. Ah. Still matcha though too? Oh yes. Because who could possibly reject the delicious and organic taste of Japanese matcha by Jade Leaf? Hashtag not sponsored. It's actually been a little while since I've had a proper cup of matcha. I want to say it was 2 streams back, maybe. Yeah, I think it was 2 streams back that I decided to do a proper cup of matcha. But oof, it is I've been drinking a lot of coffee and a lot of the Sneak energy. It's just been the thing that keeps me rolling. Yeah. Okay, so if we get no votes, if answer counts highest index equals 0, so this is an early term for if no votes, exit. If no votes, there are no votes. So we'll just say a bot.send message, no poll winner, and then we can bot.clear poll and return. If no votes, exit, because there's no point in doing all of this and sending a message like that says, hey, everybody won. No, nobody won. So we got no poll winner, winning answer, do a thing, and we're good. Coffee's been overriding your life. I actually had an interesting like swap over. Sneak, which is basically just powder that I put in water. And if anybody's never seen Sneak before, I think a lot of streamers were sponsored by Sneak for a good while. Probably still are. But the thing that caught me about Sneak is that it was on that train of like try to get the natural energy as much as possible. But I think it also includes caffeine, so take that with a grain of salt. Is caffeine natural? I think so. I'm not biased, I don't know what you're talking about. But biggest thing for me was that it didn't have a bunch of sugar in it. It was like 3 grams of sugar, I think, per scoop, and I do 1 scoop a day. So much better. So much better for somebody that's low carb. Just saying. But yeah, when I started drinking Sneak, I kind of stopped drinking coffee for a bit because Sneak and coffee is quite the energy punch. It's not really a boost, it's like a punch in the face. But yeah, I kind of stopped drinking coffee for a bit, and then I realized I stopped drinking coffee. I want coffee, and then I went back and started making coffee. Coffee. Okay. I think that should at least handle both of those cases, both of the odd cases. So we're gonna do one more poll. Poll started. Is the poll working? I'm gonna be hopeful. Let's see if metrics.txt is updating. It is, because now it's clearing. Oh, finally. Okay. So in theory, there is an extra pipe at the end of it, but meh. We could be cheeky. Where is start poll? Start poll is here. We could be cheeky, and we could go Well, no, we want to do that. Poll started. Question. Something to that effect. Poll started. Question. Do the thing. And then answers. Look something like this. Let's see here. Type a number only to vote. Something of that nature. Just something to at least describe how the poll actually works so that I don't have to do it every time, or so that anybody that uses it doesn't have to do that every time. Type a number only in chat to vote. There we go. And we could be cheeky and we could do a thing like, oh, well, we have that extra thing at the end, so let's just add one at the beginning. And now we've got a box. Liquidor, thank you so much for stopping by. Welcome to the lab. And thank you so much for being a chaos tester. That is exactly how I want that to happen. Now the question becomes, did that make it in? It didn't. But did you get added? You didn't. Perfect. Aha. Let's see. Did we get a never seen Liquidor before? So we got starting new poll. First time watching. Welcome. Welcome to the lab. It's oh man, it actually worked, or at least it did the thing that I thought it would do, which is ignore. Welcome to the stream. Your poll vote has been ignored. Let's see here. Let's go to the poll handler. No poll winner. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, so we got a bug. We got a bug. We can fix that. Ah, yes. So invalid vote answer. So we just ignore it, and you're not added to the voters list, so you get to vote again. Perfect. However, we got a bug. We got a bug. We got a bug. So now the question is, okay. So at the moment, answer counts should be populated with more than zeros. So that's interesting. Answer does a thing, answer counts, answer, and just double checking that it wasn't. Oh, answer 1 is not a valid number. Aha. Why is 1 not a valid number? Hello? Do we have to do a strings.trim around it? Sorry, the cat is in the other room, and she's just going nutsoid. Do a trim space. I don't think it is. Oh.
Oh, good. My slow clap processor made it into this thing.
Bunyan's Glee? I probably screwed that up. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the lab. Digital lab coats will be available upon request. However, we cannot guarantee that they will actually fit because I can barely count answers, let alone to get lab coat sizes right. So, but welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. Oh, let's see here. At this point, we are writing a Twitch chatbot in Go, which is well, technically it's me, or it's masquerading as me, but that is the bot that just greeted you. Is this JavaScript? No, this is Golang. Because I am a Go fanboy, as has been identified at work recently. Whoops. All right, so let's see here. So what am I doing wrong? Let's do this. Let's go to server poll handler. And the duration we'll just set to 1 minute for the sake of sanity and testing. And yes, I should have proper test. I know, I'm sorry, I'm terrible. I'm terrible. It looks like JavaScript? Yeah. That actually has helped a good bit with getting new people to try Go. It has a couple of similarities to other languages that help people at least kind of grasp onto some of the concepts, which is very handy. Okay, so that is updating as expected, so that's all good. So now the question becomes, what is this doing? What is this not doing is the better question. So we got an answer that's not valid. Error does not equal to nil. Answer is not valid. What we should probably do is do a logger.warn error or error.error so that we can actually see what's happening. Okay. Okay. An anomaly? Oh no, it's because I did. It's because I added trim space. So maybe that was the problem. It always does that to me. It's like anytime I try to do a strictconv A to I, it always messes with me on spaces and whatnot. But okay, so huzzah, huzzah and hooray. Let's do a 3, back to 3. So that's working as expected, surprisingly. We got polls. We got very basic polls, but we got polls. So again, what I might do, and again, this will kind of depend on what the next stream looks like, because I do have to take off here in just a second. But I think we may do one more episode with the bot. And that one more episode will be to try and get the poll as an on-screen element, maybe somewhere up here, like the labels and such are. But hopefully that'll work. All right, so let's see here. So we are no longer doing this from the handler, which is kind of nice, all things considered. Do I even use the store? Actually, hold on. Before we close, leader PF. Thank you. Server poll handler. No, okay. So we don't even use the data store there. Cool. So get diff, and for the diff, we mostly just got the answer counting. Poll started, type a number only in chat to vote. Yeah, I don't particularly care for the one long string for that, which is kind of why I'm pondering the idea of the next episode actually being, you know, a on-screen element. That's actually a very good call out. Bot poll handler or bot. D. So all of these should actually be index +1 for the display purpose, but then the regular index for access purposes. So good catch, Web and Keyboard. I'm just going to pretend that you intended to do that, or I'm just going to assume that you intended to do that, and thank you for your contributions to the lab. Let's see here. Status, git add, git commit m. Damn right. Would you like to be immortalized in the commit message for this code? Let's see here. So add answer counts and results. Off by 1. Bug caught by web and keyboard. Would you mind that? I always like to ask before I do, because I know some people don't like being immortalized like that. But if you would like to, you will end up in the comments or in the commit messages of this item. Would I? Yeah. I got viewers just peppered over this code base. If you catch something and you help me do something, or you help me design something, and you want to be immortalized in the code, I like to do that. Bueno. Hit the button. Aha. Da-da-da. All right. Pepper me! I don't know why that reminded me, but, well, actually, I do know now. Off topic, I made chili last night, and I found a pocket in the chili where, because the recipe is more or less, it calls for a couple of things, but it's kosher salt, black pepper, and cumin. And I found a pocket where I guess pepper had congregated and formed their own secret society, and they were having some type of a meeting, and then this giant monstrosity of a primordial that is me scooped them up out of their meeting ground and then tried to eat them. And it was basically just like a pocket of pepper just popped. Cinnamon challenge? Nah, pepper challenge. It was terrible. Terrible, I say. Get push origin current branch. All right, we got them there polls. We're gonna go ahead and open the PR. Add chat-based polls. So we add poll creation endpoint. We add a poll voting chat handler. And let's see here, results currently sent to chat. And then we'll add a to-do here on screen poll element. Probably at some point. And for anybody that's new here, I like to open the PR just because the whole like premise of why this stream exists. I'm a software developer professionally. Been so for about 16 years or so. And this whole stream started because I just wanted to show what real world development actually looks like, because that's probably the most common question that I get is, what does real world software development look like? It looks like this. It looks like Googling and going to Stack Overflow and finding simple things and finding blog posts about how to use Go Embed and Go Generate, and then crying deeply whenever a tiny little thing doesn't work, and then you realize it's because you missed a backtick. Stuff like that. So, and if you're new here, again, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. We are, I'm not necessarily a tutorial stream. I try to, whenever I'm comfortable with things, I try to explain like what it is that I'm doing and why I'm doing it. But I am not a golden source of truth, as many viewers in that have come and gone over the past 12 months or so. Holy shit. Can attest. I do some dumb stuff, but that's half the fun. You do dumb stuff, you get a suggestion to do something better, and you learn from it. Alrighty, but that is all the time that I have for today. I do need to take off, so let's swap back over to here. So, gonna leave it here again. So I will say, I'll go ahead and say that the next episode will be the last episode for the bot. So we're gonna try and see how far we can get with the polls, and if we can get the on-screen element, so this side. If we can get the on-screen element working, then that'll be a fantastic way to close it out. If we don't, then, I mean, the bot's still going to be running. I'm still going to use it for this stream. I'll just occasionally use the poll. Maybe I'll use this version. Maybe I'll use this Twitch version. We'll find out. But after that, that was what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to mention. So after this, what I'm going to take a stab at next time is I'll put some more details here soon, but the idea is kind of building a pawn system underneath what would be what you would typically find in a like a colony simulation, a town builder, those types of games. This may or may not end up as a game, because I am still kind of deciding whether or not I want to actually try to build a game on stream, considering that I'm not a game developer, and I am shite at things like pixel art or anything graphics related. So that'll be a whole thing. But building the system underneath for like managing pawns, the whole idea of like production and consumption pipelines and all that fun, like that still exists underneath the GUI. And there's some interesting patterns that tend to emerge in those types of systems. So what I think I'm going to do with that one is that one's going to be a little more realistic, whereas the bot was kind of I simplified a lot of things. Like, we're not using Redis, we're not using a database, we're not doing any of those things. The cats are attacking each other. Where the bot, I kind of made some choices towards simplicity. For this system, I'm going to make more choices towards what you would typically see in the real world. So you'll see more databases, you'll see more Redis, you'll probably see us do a deployment to Kubernetes, because, I mean, the Kube cluster is sitting next to me and it's not getting anything. It's not getting anything done, so want to change that up. But that's it for me. Thank you all so much for watching. It was a pleasure having you. For anybody that is new or returning, thank you. And until next time, stay